All right, we have a double unboxing here. This arrived from Dell, finally getting to it. The Dell Plus 14, and I have the Dell Plus 16. Now, I did the 2-in-1. Of course, my full review will be dropping the next couple of days, so stay tuned. But I did a live unboxing and testing. I'll leave a link to the replay for those that didn't catch it. But we got the 14-inch and the 16-inch here. Let's start with the 14-inch. This one I'm looking forward to. It's a smaller, more affordable product that, of course, in a time where we have all these expensive laptops, this is going to be a godsend in a lot of ways because it won't break the bank. I've seen it go on sale, so I'll leave the latest pricing in the description below. Of course, the price can fluctuate, so always make sure you check the link for the latest pricing. So without further ado, let's get this out of the box. Okay, so here we go. We have the unit itself. We'll put this to the side. A little bit of heft to it, all right, but it feels pretty good. And then, of course, some documentation regarding this. This is the Dell 14 Plus 2-in-1, by the way. I meant to say 2-in-1 earlier. Okay, so here we have the charger, and we can see here that this is a 65-watt USB Type-C charger. We've seen this before, okay? And we have a power cord that you attach to it. So here's your charging system right there, and that is it. And then, of course, we get the unit itself, and let's take it out of this felt here, and it's in this beautiful blue color, which I like. So again, the Plus line will replace the Inspiron line that they used to call it. Again, the rebranding in a full effect here. Now, it's a pretty nice looking laptop, as you can see, in this beautiful blue color. I'll put the name of the color on the screen if I can figure out what it is. Of course, I'm just trying to get a first look at this. And then let's do the you-know-what test. Yeah, you can sort of do it again. I think this is a 2-in-1. Let's see. Yep, this is a 2-in-1. So pretty good hinge so far. Not too bad with the screen wobble. Keyboard looks pretty good. Nice size touchpad. And again, this is going to have the Intel Core Ultra 7 processor. And here you can see the keyboard up close. It looks pretty good. Okay, let's get a look at the ports here. And on the left side is an HDMI. It's a HDMI 2.1. You get a USB Type-C 3.2 Gen 2, 10 gigabits per second. And then there is a USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 ports that support 40 gigabits per second. So that's good to see that. And that rounds out the left side. And moving over to the right side is one USB Type A 3.2 Gen 1 that supports 5 gigabits per second. And you get a 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack to round out the ports. Notably missing, there's no SD card reader. And I think overall, pretty good port selection. One little nitpick, I'd like to see those two USB Type-C ports split up, one on each side, making it a little bit more convenient. I know that adds some cost to the unit because splitting it up means there is some extra cost involved, but overall, pretty decent port selection here. All right, let's get a measurement of the weight with just the unit alone. We're looking at 1.574 kilograms, and that comes out to 3 pounds, 7.5 ounces. Put it back into kilograms here. And we're looking at, with the power charger and the power cord, a total of 1.854 kilograms, and that is 4 pounds, 1.4 ounces for a total travel weight. All right, the build is very good here. This is a metal design here, all fully metal, so it's good to see the nice premium quality here. 2 vents on the back there. On the bottom, some venting, a metal plate on the bottom. There are Phillips head screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll look at the internals, of course, in the full review, but if you can obviously upgrade the SSD. And again, let's try to do can't quite open it with one finger. Now, this being a 2-in-1 convertible means you can put it into the different modes. You got the tent mode, of course, and then there's the stand mode, and then, of course, the tablet mode. So not too bad, not too heavy, although you could put it on the table or desk to get it a little bit more comfortable. Again, a little bit of weight there, but overall pretty good. Now I noticed there is a shutter switch for the webcam. We'll check that out in terms of the webcam, but overall pretty nice overall build. Let's give a listen to the keyboard and let's hear how it sounds. So there's a nice feedback, good key travel on it, pretty comfortable so far. Of course, I still need to test it. Really nice touchpad here. It's a diving board style touchpad. Again, at this mid-level, mid-tier type of laptop, you don't expect it to have haptic or anything like that, but pretty good. We'll test out how performative it is, how responsive it is very shortly. But overall, pretty good keyboard and touchpad. From initial feel and look at it, it looks pretty decent. Okay, we have everything booted up here. We have a 14-inch 1920 by 1200 full HD plus display. And it is a pretty nice display. Of course, it's not going to be OLED or anything like that. But at this price point, I'm not expecting that. Now, this comes in at $1,100 as configured, but I've seen it go on sale. So make sure you hit the link in the description below. And there's no plastic here. Everything is all metal here, and it's got glass covering here. It is 60 hertz. It's not 120 or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. But I expect to get really, really good battery life on this. Now, this is running the Intel Core Ultra 7 256V. We've seen it before. It's Intel Lunar Lake, and it has Intel Arc 140V graphics, so a very good integrated graphic solution. So this is going to be a great general purpose laptop. It's going to allow you to do your everyday work, Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, and you could do some light video editing, and of course, DaVinci Resolve Premiere Pro can be done on this. Again, I would keep it at a minimum there. I wouldn't try to do too many complex renders and so forth. I would look for something with a discrete GPU, but I think overall, this is going to be good for content creation. Again, the display, I'll do the metrics and all that. Not the best display in the world in terms of content creation, but for watching movies, Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, this will be perfectly fine. And again, not going to break the bank here. So overall, pretty decent here. We'll get a look at it in the full review. All right, so here you can see I have the Windows Journal app open here, and I'm able to use a pen. You can buy the Dell pen, of course, separately. I don't think it comes in the box. It's something extra you have to add, but it is definitely good for taking notes, sketching out artwork, and stuff like that. I really like this Windows Journal app, by the way, and comes free, and of course, you can use it and take your notes and do all sorts of stuff with this, so pretty good. Let's get the Dell 16 Plus, the clamshell. We already looked at the 2-in-1 with the mini LED. This one can come with a mini LED, but I think we have the 2.5K IPS display, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get it out of the box. Okay, so we have the unit itself here. A little bit of heft, of course, 16-inch clamshell. Here's some documentation here. And then, of course, you get your charger here. The same 65-watt USB Type-C we just saw on the 14-inch 2-in-1. This one is the same. So that is the power charger and the power cord. Okay, let's get this out of the felt here. And it's also that ice blue that we looked at on the 14-inch. Here you can see it. This is that beautiful ice blue color there. So very light color, very nice. Shows minimal amount of fingerprints because of that. So that's looking pretty good. Let's see if we could do the you-know-what. And yes, we can. And we get a raised typing angle here. So that will give it more airflow and a little bit more ergonomics. See, it sort of goes up here. You can see sort of raises off the table there. Okay, so let's take a look here. We have a numpad, which is correctly laid out. Really nice keyboard here. Minimal flex or give in the chassis, so that's looking pretty good. So far, nice touchpad. A little off-center because of this numeric keypad. And this one is a Core Ultra 7. This should be the 256V, but we'll double-check that. Again, we'll see the display here. It should be non-touch, and it is not a glossy display, so that's good. We're going to take a look at that in a moment, but let's give a listen to the keyboard. All right, so pretty good keyboard here. Feels pretty good. Touchpad feels pretty good. Overall, looks pretty nice. On the bottom here, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Phillips head screws here, so not too bad. We'll have to open that up at some point to see the upgradability, but overall pretty good so far. Okay, let's get a look at the port selection. On the left side is an HDMI 2.1. You also get a USB Type-C 3.2 Gen 2, 10 gigabits per second. It is full function. And then you get a USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 port supporting 40 gigabits per second. And of course, that is also full function. That rounds out the left side. And moving over to the right side is one USB Type A 3.2 Gen 1, 5 gigabits per second, and you get a 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack to round out the ports. Now, one thing that is missing is a SD or micro SD card reader. Kind of would have been nice to have that, especially on a 16-inch clamshell, but we don't get that here. But overall, pretty decent port selection. And one nitpick, like I had on the 14-inch 2-in-1, why don't they split up the two USB Type-C ports, one on each side, making it more convenient? Here, they're both on the left side, so just keep that in mind. But overall, pretty decent port selection here. All right, let's get a measurement of the weight with just the unit alone. We're looking at 1.82 kilograms, and that is 4 pounds, 0.2 ounces. So a shade over 4 pounds. And then, of course, if we put it back into kilograms, we're looking at, with the power charger and the power cord here, 2.088 or 2.087 kilograms, and that is 4 pounds, 9.7 ounces for a total travel weight. Okay, so we have the display here. This is a pretty nice display here. So this is a 2.5K resolution, 2560 by 1600. It also has 120 hertz refresh rate. That, of course, give you that very smooth, very fluid experience. You can also get the optional mini LED, 90 hertz though on that one, but this is 120. Good to see they went with a high refresh rate here, and that is pretty good. Let me go to the advanced display settings here. Yeah, it's on 120 here. Here it is 120 hertz, so it's very good. Overall, a pretty nice looking display. We'll test all the metrics on that in the full review. Numpad here for those number crunchers. Everything looking pretty good here so far. Here's another look at the display. And what I like about it is, yes, you'll see a little glare. I have a lot of lights here, but it's not a glossy display. So for those that want to be more productive, not have the glare and reflection for a distraction there, that's going to be great. I'm a big fan of these matte displays, and this one looks pretty good. I'll test the color accuracy, the coverage of the color gamut. But of course, don't expect it to be like an OLED display or mini LED. That is an option, of course, but this will give you pretty good, solid performance for a display and for watching Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, and stuff like that. This is going to be a very good display here. All right, here we have them both side by side. This is the Dell 14 Plus 2-in-1. This is the Dell 16 Plus clamshell. I also have the 2-in-1 as well. We'll take a look at the full review on that in the next day or so. I'm just finalizing that. But overall, pretty nice in the ice blue. A little different shade between these two. This one's a little darker than this one, but both look pretty good. And I will say, very nice premium designs here, especially for what is replacing essentially the Inspiron line from last year. And with the Dell rebranding, we now have this here. Now, the display is a little bit nicer, I think, on the 16-inch. It is a higher resolution display with a higher refresh rate than this one. But overall, I would say they're both really good, especially if you need the convertible 14-inch here. That's going to be versatile to put it into the different modes. Use with the pen. This one has no pen support. Of course, there is a 2-in-1 that we also looked at. Again, links for everything, I should say, are in the descriptions below. Now, for those that are wondering, here's the size difference between the two with the 16-inch on the bottom there. And here you can see that there is a different footprint, obviously. You're going to get a smaller footprint on the 14 2-in-1. And here you can see thickness-wise, they're pretty similar in that regard. Not too much of a difference there. Ports are exactly the same on the left side. And here is the right side. Again, same port selection, which is pretty interesting. Just a smaller form factor on that 14-inch. Now, one thing I'd like to point out is, again, minimal fingerprints. I am starting to see a few fingerprints on here, nothing much on here, but I think the color here, the light or the ice blue, whatever they're calling it, actually gives it a really good coating on there as far as oleophobic coating. And I think overall, these have a good ability to keep those fingerprints pretty much at a minimum, which I like to see. So pretty good in that regard. Now, one thing I like about this clamshell, it's not a 2-in-1, but you can still go back 180 degrees, as you see here. So definitely can give you the perfect viewing angle each and every time. This one can go, of course, 180 degrees, also 360 degrees. So it does have that versatility. The 2-in-1 obviously can do the 360 thing. So that's another video, as I mentioned. But overall, these are looking pretty darn good so far. So I think, who is this for? Well, so far, initial impressions, this is going to be good for an average consumer for a student or somebody who doesn't want to break the bank. You know, they want to spend a certain amount of money from, say, $800 to $1,100 or so. You're going to get good value for your money, good bang for the buck, as I like to say. And I like the options here. You can customize these over at Dell's website. I've seen them go on sale. I've seen this with AMD processors as well. So that's a good option here for 2025. Gives you more choices, which is always good for the consumer. And again, I've seen these go on sale. So make sure you always check the link in the description below for the latest pricing. Doing your everyday tasks like Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, these are going to do fine. Intel Lunar Lake is going to give you very good efficiency. You're going to expect very good battery life. I expect them on both, although we'll have to test that out, especially on this one with the Full HD Plus display. 60 hertz will use less power, less juice. Expect really good battery life on that. And if it's anything like the other Lunar Lakes we've seen in 2025, and late 2024, of course, we saw excellent longevity. So you probably can take these on a cross-country trip. You don't need to worry about plugging in all the time, especially when this sips juice at a pretty efficient rate. But of course, we'll always test this out and we'll give you the full results in the full review. Those are coming very soon. So stay tuned. I'll have a full review on these very soon. I'll have my Dell 16 2-in-1 review in the next day or so. So stay tuned for that. And I am really happy about the growth of the channel as we make our big push for 250,000 subscribers. We're about to hit 237,000 and climbing. So I do thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you're going to buy something like the Dell 16 Plus or the Dell 14 Plus 2-in-1, why not hit the links in the description below? Yes, they are affiliate links, and no, not a huge commission, but it helps keep the lights on here in the studio, and very much appreciated at that. So until next time, this is Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.